Hello, everyone. Welcome to Online Seller UK podcast. My name is Prabhat, founder at Online Seller UK, and we've been doing this series of podcasts for the last year. And recently, we've connected with GS1 UK to bring you a real good understanding on how EN works, GTIN works, or UPC works. And I'm hoping with this series of podcasts, you'll get a lot of understanding about it. So today, I've got Lorna with me. Lorna, welcome to our podcast.
Hi, Prabhat. Happy Friday. Thanks for having me.
Happy Friday. No, that's good. That's good. So, Lorna, why don't you introduce yourself again, and that'll be good, and then we can dive into the topic today.
Yeah, sure. I'm Lorna Leaver. I'm one of the engagement managers that sit within the marketplaces team at GS1 UK. So my job is basically to help the members work out any issues that they've got with trading on the likes of Amazon, eBay, those kind of guys, work together to find a resolution that works for the industry.
Excellent. So last time we were talking about this purchasing or renting EN numbers. Now, today we've got a topic about EN allocation rules or GTIN allocation rules. Do you want to introduce the topic to us, please?
Yeah, so I guess obviously when you get to the point of putting the numbers onto the products, a lot of people can think that that's it, done, but there is some rules, and obviously with anything standardized, we've got rules around it. So there is some rules around when you might need to change the product. If you make certain changes to the product, then you might need to make changes to that GTIN. You may need to give it a new number, and that can be a bit complicated to get your head around at first. So we've got a couple of guiding principles to make things easy, and we've got a couple of decision tools. So we can run through that today.
Okay, excellent. So as you said, if you change something on the product, so what sort of changes are generally, require us to change the GTIN number?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, when they join GS1, they think, right, I've got 3 products, so I need 3 numbers, and that's that. But what we always say is try and think about what your product range is going to look like for the next year, whether you're going to be thinking that you're going to make any changes or improvements to the product, because it means that you'll end up using quite a bit more numbers than you think that you would do initially. So what we've got is 3 guiding principles around when you should change a GTIN. So the first one is for the consumer. So if there is anything about the product that's changed that the consumer is going to need to be aware of. So for example, something like you had a pack of 3 and now it's a pack of 5. Obviously, you would want the consumer to know that you're getting 2 extra in there. Then secondly, it's around regulation. So if there's been a regulatory change that has meant that you, for example, need to change the ingredients. So a great example of this was the sugar tax that a year or 2 ago, more than that now actually. But yes, when you, for example, the sugar tax came in and, for example, you changed the ingredients to remove the sugar so that you're no longer liable for that tax, you would obviously want to put a new GTIN on it so that you know that this was the version with the sugar in, this is the version without the sugar.
Okay, so the 2 key principles you mentioned, changing the ingredients or changing the pack size. Now,
yeah, we've got one more, which is around the supply chain. So this would be typically around changes to the size of the product or the way that it needs to be transported. So for example, if you had a product that now needs to be refrigerated, obviously the supply chain is going to need to know which version of that needs to be kept cool. Or something like if you had an aerosol that you're trying to make a bit more sustainable and you reduce the height of the carton. So obviously for supply chain issues, they can get a lot more on the lorry because it's smaller. And then similarly, that would then follow that information through to the store because the shelving on the actual shop floor can be made smaller. They can get more product in the store. So this one, you can say this one, you can get this many onto the shop floor versus the older style. And with the old GTIN, you can only get this many onto the shop floor. So they're the 3 key things. If any of those things are affected, you need to put a new GTIN onto it.
Yeah, okay. That will help customer to be aware that that product is something different on it compared to what it was in the past. Now,
exactly.
when we talk about this, and there will be an immediate question, especially from Amazon sellers, that I have worked hard to collect reviews with this GTIN number, or with the product with this GTIN number. If I create a new product, then I'd have to start working on my product reviews or improving the ranking on the product again. So in those situations, what sort of suggestions do you have?
Yeah, obviously the rankings and the reviews with Amazon is like the holy grail, so no one wants to affect them. And obviously I completely understand that you pay a lot for that with all the marketing that you do. I totally get that. But ultimately, if you don't do it and you're having, like, for example, if you had in the sugar tax one, right, one's got a load of sugar in it, one hasn't. You have to be able to identify what the differences are. Obviously, the way that the individual marketplaces handle these different things is down to the marketplace. Particularly with Amazon, you see it mainly more with like electronics, but they have a way of linking, like, so this is the older laptop, this is the newer laptop come out. So look into the way that you can link the two listings together. Okay, it's like parent-child relationship or something around that line. Yeah, I've not actually done one of the listings for the update in terms of how they do it. So maybe add something into the listing descriptions to say this is the alternative. And obviously, any time that you've got the cross sells, so you typically see that you're able to influence that a bit more on eBay than you can on Amazon, but saying, right, this is the alternative one that you can have a look at. So just look at cross merchandising of products, and obviously you can do that nice and easy if you have your own website as well. Okay. And is there any way you've heard that we could change the GTIN of existing? I know it may be the difficult question to answer, but have you seen anyone being successful changing GTIN, changing the content to what it is? But can we keep the reviews? Is there anything have you seen in the past? Yeah, so the typical use case at the moment for changing over a GTIN tends to be when people have got the numbers that we talked about on the last episode, where they're on GS1 number. But Amazon haven't really kind of refined a nice automated way to do it. So we've been doing some tests over the last 2 years now to work with them to see like what happens with different scenarios of sellers. So if it changes it, if it's an FBA product, that kind of thing. But we haven't really got it to the point where it's a nice, slick process. But it's coming. That's what I've been told from Amazon. So hopefully we've got some more news for that. I guess the implication of changing it on there is going to be that you're going to have to change all of the content as well that reflects it. But I would say watch your space, leave it with me, and then I'll put that use case to Amazon as well in terms of how they handle it. But my suspicion is that they're going to say, well, this is that version of it, this is that version. They should be separate listings, and you just link the two together so that the consumer has the choice of which version they want. Okay, excellent. So I think you give us quite a bit of information about allocation rules today. Is there anything you would want to add before we end? Yeah, with everything GS1, as soon as you get me started, it keeps coming out. There's lots to learn. But what I would say is, obviously, the 3 guiding principles is the main thing to think about. We actually also have a decision tree. So we've got a tool on our global website, which I can share the link with you. And it literally takes you through a flow chart. So yes or no. And then it tells you, do you need to change the GTIN? No, you don't in this case. So if you're in any doubt, absolutely use that tool, and then that will give you the absolute answer. Excellent. Thank you very much for your time today, and I'll speak to you next time for another topic. No problem. Thanks for having me. Speak soon. Thanks a lot. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye.